Hey y'all, I am Daniel Aaron, and I am so excited for us to have this opportunity here today with Janice Sorensen, who I'll introduce more in a minute. And I'll tell you first, thank you for being interested, for being here. And for y'all who have seen my blog or videos recently, you're probably going like, where is he? Because that's such a different kind of setting than usual. It ain't Bali, it ain't the woods, and it is Janice's living room. And we'll see if that's the right term for it in a minute, living room. And I asked Janice to be with us today to share with y'all some stuff about what I'm calling, and we'll see what Janice calls in a minute, the art of living well. And I met Janice 23 years ago when I moved into a 23 years a community living situation, a big house where a whole bunch of people lived, and I had no desire to live there at all. Really, it was October, and I had just moved back to Western Mass with my girlfriend at the time, and we were late to find a house. All the college town, all the houses were gone, and
out of desperation.
it really was out of desperation. It was like it was just everything was expensive and these small places, and we couldn't figure out. And then we found out this one in a community home, and big space, low rent. I was like, good, but community home, and I was thinking, oh man, it's gonna be like
freaking hippies.
Like I was just pictured a sink with stacked dishes and spaghetti stains dripping down them, and it was so different when I got there. And actually, I remember now as I'm saying it that you were there the first time we came to see it, and I remember you offered us tea, and I was like, my jaw must have just been dropped down the whole time. Like, this is so not what I thought. Now, and to put it a little bit more in context, I lived at that house, I don't know, year and a half or something like that. And
so how old were you then?
Okay, thanks. How old was I then? Well, let's see, if I'm 47 now,
I was wondering if you were around 23.
Yeah,
23 years ago.
Yeah.
And you might have been around 23.
I was around 23 years old, and I learned so much from Janice then about, and the whole house situation really, but particularly Janice, and we had spaces that were near each other, and she lived there with her maybe 2-year-old daughter, Della, and her fiance, and became husband at the time. And now they live here in Buckland, Massachusetts, and Zeta and I are visiting, and we have seen each other, well, I don't know, we've seen each other since then, but probably not for 15, 18 years, something like that. And y'all know about me in some way. That period in my life, and if you don't know, now you do, that period in my life was a big awakening for me, and more is coming up about that soon. And in that awakening, that kind of launched me out into the world, and that's when I went to Omega, and to learn, like, figure out how to live well, how to be a inspired, alive, vibrantly thriving human in the world. And so it's so great for me to come back to here now and us, and remember how much I learned from you about living well, and on many topics, from intimacy to home care to cleaning to parenting, so many topics that we talked about, and I learned from you. It was just so eye-opening for me, and I take it for granted sometimes how to do certain things that I've learned about and now are ingrained in me. And I'm guessing that's the same for you. And for one of the things I've realized, and why I'm so excited about having this time together, is so many of my friends who are into consciousness and meditation or achievement or business have no clue about how to make a meal or take care of children or arrange a home in a way that is not just beneficial or inspiring. Hey Z, will you keep the audio down a little bit for us, please? And if you want to come say hi, you're welcome to do that at any point.
And you could go in the kitchen if you want to be a little noisier.
That's true too. So y'all, who are you?
Give me a Z.
So familiar. Zeta Shazandra Aaron. And, well, and you know, and that's, I guess, a good bridge, too, because part of why I'm excited to be here now, too, is for Zeta to meet one of my teachers and friends and to learn. And we're staying together with our friends who are here, yeah?
And the pleasure is mine. It's so great to have you here and to meet and hang out with Zeta. One of just an amazing, amazing girl and soon to be young woman. And I can see you're doing great things now, and it's clear you're gonna have a beautiful life and do great things in the world. You're very thoughtful, and I don't just mean like you're nice to people. I mean, you're picking up things in the room that other people never see, and those are emotional things. They're concrete things. Like when you were up in the magic room, when you left the magic room, I said, "Oh my gosh, I forgot to turn the heater off," and you said, "Oh, I turned the heater off when I left the room." That it's a small little detail physical thing, but it's an amazing awareness to have, and I appreciated it so much knowing that you had seen that. And like I said, there's so many other ways that you're very aware of the space around you and the people in the room and the vibe and the dog energy, and we have a lot of fun too.
Cool. All right. Well, you know what? That's a perfect bridge for me to turn our discussion into some practical lessons and ways for people to improve their life. And y'all, you may not be interested in the art of living well when it comes to what's happening inside your home. And you may become more interested in that as you deepen the awareness that it's all connected. The way we do one thing is the way we do everything. And for me, part of why home is so important is because it's the sanctuary for... Hey y'all, I am Daniel Aaron, and we are back with Janice Sorensen, getting down to the really practical stuff here in... I was just saying this room is like a studio because it's quiet, but it's also like a studio because then you're just going to get the tiniest glimpse of it. It's filled with Janice's art, and the room itself is art. And hey, Janice is there. And one lesson for you right now that is very practical and powerful, and you may already be seeing how it applies to other parts of your life. And just to give you a tiny bit of the framing for this, when I arrived to visit Janice 5 days ago, the first night I got here, we traveled a long ways. It was like 2 in the morning or something when I was going to bed. And I said, Janice, you know, I'd love to take a bath. Would that sound disturb anybody? And she said, no, it's okay. You can take a bath. It's great. Let me show you how we work with the bath here, you know, because they got a system. And in any home, in any business, in any physical body, systems are necessary and useful for an awesome life. So, that said, Janice, will you teach us or share with us what your system is on that again?
Yeah. So I'll give you a little background on the system and why the system. I really value equity in life, whether it's in work or shared space, however it is. And I've found that we can... in order to maintain our lives, you might want to put that up a little bit. In order to maintain our lives, there's a certain amount of work we have to do to feed ourselves, to keep things clean and hygienic, to get our clothing, to be able to make money for clothing, whatever, all the things that it takes, doing the dishes, cooking the food. And I really feel like it's important to remember that. I don't want to tangent too much, but you know, if you have a lot of money, and that's great to be prosperous, but remembering like the amount of work that goes into each thing that you do when you go out to eat or whatever. So anyway, I really value equity, and in my relationship with Michael, we really share our work equally. And that can come about in any number of ways. I can put my dishes in the sink, run out, go do my thing, and Michael come back and be kind of frustrated that there's a sink full of dishes, and then I may come home and he may say, you know, Janice, can you do the dishes? Or he may do them and say, it's your turn to do the dishes. And we may end up both doing the same amount of dishes, but with this like vibration of resentment, like, it's my turn, it's your turn, you should have done them, I did them. And Michael and I, we didn't plan this. We just sort of fell into this thing where we each know how much the other values a tidy sink and kitchen. And so when I leave the house, I'm thinking of Michael and I think, oh, I'm kind of in a hurry, but I want to finish these dishes so that when he gets home, the kitchen looks nice. And he's told me that he does the same thing. So we could each be asking the other to do the dishes or doing dishes that were left for us, but rather we take up our own mess. And the same with the bathtub. I can come into the bathroom and to a dirty tub, clean the tub, and take my bath. Or I can take my bath and think about the next person and wanting to have the tub clean for them. I'm still cleaning the bath once, but the first, I'm cleaning someone else's dirt, which is not a big deal. I clean other people's dirt.
Okay, here's Janice, and I am your host, your roving reporter behind the camera now. And Janice, would you tell me, we'll just go back in time as if I was about to take a bath, and it's 2 a.m., and you said, yeah, you can take a bath here, and something you need to know about it, or the way we work with it is...
Yeah, so when we take a bath, we can approach it either of two ways. I can come in the bath and clean the bath because somebody has left the tub dirty, and then take my bath and then leave. Or I can take my bath, clean the tub of my own mess, and leave it for the next person so that when they walk in the bathroom, they're getting right into a clean tub and it's all shiny and good. And so either way, you're cleaning the bathtub once. The way we do it, you're thinking there's a thought toward the next person, and maybe less resentment if it's like, ugh, I don't want to be cleaning your skin cells. But so yeah, that's how we do it.
It's awesome. I love that way of thinking, and we've talked about it before. I apply the same way in terms of the cleaning dishes. Like, it's by doing them right afterwards, it leaves the kitchen clean and it's easier. And not only is it the same amount of work, it's actually less work, because later when the dishes get crusty, then it's actually more work.
So true. Bathtub as well.
Bathtub is the same. So let's, will you stand up for a second? I want to show people super practical, because not only is the lesson about how we care for each other, and how we care for our environment one, it's also a lesson about how we take care of our home in environmental ways. So would you show me, like, literally the system that you use, what you use, how you spray it in that piece?
Yeah, sure.
So check it out, y'all.
Spray bottle, green stuff.
And I'll interject just to say that is, I think the product literally is it Simple Green? It's a natural eco green sort of spray that doesn't have chemicals in it.
Yes.
And that is important because
it's going into our groundwater, and we have an underground lake, and we don't want to poison it. Sometimes if it's really needs an overhaul, I'll just use baking soda, which is a great cleanser. So then I all the way around whoa babies, and making sure first that the top is on well. That's a very important part. And then I actually have a particular way, if you care to know. I do it in a circular motion going around, so you're almost getting the whole thing sort of twice.
Perfect.
Like that. And it feels sort of, it's systematic, so you just like zip, 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 zip. instead of like, oh, no, oh, I missed a spot down there. And then, chick-a-boom. Then I take this and I go put my finger on the top so I know I'm not going over and spilling water onto my floor. And c'est ça.
C'est ça. All right. So let's see. Can I turn this camera back around? I cannot. I don't know how. So we'll finish it up there, and by saying this. In addition to what you said about the importance of the natural cleanser, I would add that, hey, you know what? My body's going to go in that. My skin absorbs. I want to
Absolutely.
have going into me, same as what I have going out on other things, which is pure stuff that's not harming me. And y'all, this was Janice's bathroom, artistic studio bathroom that it is. And this is her system for doing it. I wouldn't recommend that you use the same system. I recommend that you create your own system.
Mine is patented, and it can be yours for $9.95. Call 1-800-JANICE.
Yeah,
Homegirl.
awesome.
1-800-HOMEGIRL.
Janice, thank you. And yeah, in fact, if you want to learn more about what Janice does, especially if you're in the Western Massachusetts region, homegirl.com, is that it?
Homegirl Redesign.
Homegirl Redesign.
If you Google Homegirl Redesign, I think it's .com. Yeah. And put Janice Sorensen or Janice or Western Mass, it will be there.
I'll put the link for you in the text related to this
right
blog.
Here.
Woohoo!
Beep.
Thanks,
Beep.
Janice.
See ya.
Thanks, y'all.